few orbits. Oh! Oh, God. Today we're going to be taking a look at the BETAFPV Cetus X kit for beginners. It comes with the drone, goggles, and a controller, all ready to fly out of the box. I'm going to demo how to fly the Cetus X. I'm going to give you some tips for having a successful first flights and how to graduate from mode to mode. And then finally, I'm going to give you my general thoughts on the overall kit. All right, let's put on the goggles and go for our first flight. I'm going to start the DVR recording by pressing this little red button here. Okay, so on the left side of the radio is the SA and the SB switch. Now, if the SB switch is all the way away from you, it's going to be angle mode. If the switch is in the middle, it's going to be horizon mode. And if the switch is all the way toward you, it's going to be air mode. Notice the lower right corner of my screen by the fly minute counter. Those are the modes. This is changing your mode switch. For your first flight, I would just recommend putting it into angle mode, and I'll explain why in a bit. So to start and stop the drone, very simple. You're going to press this SA switch. Now, you may press the button and say, hey, John, it's not starting up. What the heck's going on here? I see the word throttle. Is your throttle all the way down on the transmitter? If it's not, then the drone will not start as a safety mechanism. So now we got that throttle all the way down, and we're going to try again to start the drone. And it did. It started up. So, okay, we are going to go ahead and take off now. So this is what we call angle mode. Now, angle mode is going to be the easiest mode to fly the drone in because in angle mode, you cannot flip it, no matter how much stick deflection you do. Notice I'm rolling all the way to the right, and it's not flipping itself. And I'm going to roll all the way to the left, and it's not flipping itself. So, you cannot put yourself upside down. This is going to let you just kind of get used to the controls in a very stabilized manner, as I am doing right now. And I think this is a good starter if you haven't flown FPV at all, or maybe you're more used to flying camera drones. Now, you are going to have to adjust your altitude yourself. It doesn't have altitude hold. Notice if I let go of the sticks, it's going to rise or sink depending on kind of where my throttle is. So there is no altitude hold on this. You have to control that yourself. But for the most part, yeah, I can even just let go of the sticks in the center, and it'll kind of just float. But yeah. Now, if you want to change to horizon mode, we're going to move that one switch. Now, the difference between horizon mode and angle mode is you actually can get a little bit more angle in your turns and your rolls. But that also means that with a very quick stick deflection, you could flip the drone. Now, it's sort of a mode in between angle and full acro because you do get that stabilization as soon as you let go and center the sticks there. As you can see, I let go of that stick and it centers me. It fixes it. But you could flip the drone in this mode. So yeah, just be ready for that. It's not going to stop you from flipping it over, but it will put it back to the center. I don't really recommend training in this mode. I think that's probably I think if you're going to do this, just stick with angle mode or go full acro. I don't think there's any reason to mess around with horizon mode. So I almost just crashed there. I don't know if you guys saw that. Literally almost just crashed in horizon mode, so that's great. But yeah, angle mode I really think is a good start for beginners with this little drone. You want to practice just hitting gaps like this here through this tree straight on. And in a wide open field like this, you're going to get good reception. We've already been flying for about 3 minutes. Battery's getting a little bit low. You do get 2 sets of batteries with this. So I'm actually going to go ahead and swap in the batteries so I can demo Acro mode for you now. All right, we're going to take off with our second battery here. The drone is started. We're taking off in angle mode. Now I'm going to switch to the full Acro, the full manual mode. This is no holds barred. You will be able to do any of the moves that you see me complete here after I switch. And I'm going to put this switch here all the way down. And now we are full manual mode. Notice if I just leave the stick, it's just going to keep flying in wherever I last left the stick input. And I'm also going to be able to fly all the way up and do a dive. So as you can see, this thing is very zippy, very capable. Woo! Doing a few passes by me. You're also going to truly unlock, I guess, the full speed potential because you're going to have that full angle, the max angle that it can go. I'm going to do a loop through this thing here. Oh, I didn't throw it far enough, but you can kind of get the idea that to do a power loop, I'm going to go through here, throttle up really hard, flip the stick. Oh, not used to doing power loops through there with this thing, but let's try it one more time. Now I think I threw it far enough, but I was too far over. But you kind of might get the idea that this thing is ready to go full 100% Acro. Once you change that, which also means that you can crash the crap out of it. That's why this thing is set up to where you can graduate from angle when you're ready to do this, or just do whatever you're comfortable with. Some people say that starting in the stabilized mode might be considered a crutch. I say it depends on the person. I feel like if I had started in full Acro or full manual right away, it probably would have been a bit too much for me personally. And I was fine not completely just crashing and stumbling through in Acro mode. But hey, you could also always try the full manual mode like this and see how well you do. And if you don't do well, then you just flip back to angle mode and take it nice and slow and steady, which is exactly what I'm doing now. So as far as flight time, yeah, you're going to get about 3. Oh, geez, I just crashed. All right, I just crashed. And this is important, okay? This is really important. When you crash, make sure you know where your disarm is. You want to turn off that drone as soon as possible. Now, this might be a good spot to demo the turtle mode. Let's see. If I press this switch here, the crash flip switch, and I arm the drone, I might be able to right it. Let's see. If we move this stick all the way, the stick on the right. Oh, I righted it. Okay, we should be able to fly out of this now. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we got out. So you see that? That's how the turtle mode works. You turn on turtle mode, you move the right stick, it'll power up part of the motors and bring the drone back to you. Now, if the grass is really tall, then that's not going to work out. But I was lucky, right? Because the field over here is just kind of fresh. There's not much going on. So I was able to just turtle myself out of there. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to. But, yep, I got lucky. And with 4 minutes of flight time now, we're going to go ahead and land And I think I've shown you everything I need to with this drone except for one thing. Out of the box, the video transmitter on this drone is not set to its maximum output power. And if you want to have the absolute best possible video that you can get from this drone, you need to increase it. Doing so only takes a few moments, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So, to get to the menu where we can increase the output power, I'm going to take this stick, the left throttle stick, move it all the way to the left. I'm going to move the right all the way up, and that brings us to this menu. I'm going to use the right stick to go down to features. I'm going to go to VTX and move to the right on that one. And this is where you can change the video channel, band, frequency, all of that stuff. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, down to power. And by default, it's going to be set to I think 100, something like that. You want to max that out to 400, okay? That's going to give you the best possible output power. You're going to hit save, confirm, save and exit, and that's it. Now, I was already flying in that mode, but if you want to, again, if you want to have the absolute best video experience, that's what you have to do. The only reason why it isn't set high out of the box by default is because legally they're not allowed to do that. All right, so you've seen the BETAFPV Cetus X fly. I've demoed everything. You've seen how the goggles work. Let's rank the components, because in any FPV kit on a budget, there's always going to be some give and take. And I want to talk about the value that you can expect from buying this kit. So first, the drone. I love the drone. The drone is excellent. It runs the full version of Betaflight if you buy the Betaflight version, which is what I recommend. You will be able to use this drone long after you might have graduated from this radio or the goggles. So it's something that I would honestly buy by itself and fly it on its own. For a starter radio, the gimbals are actually pretty decent. There's no reason that these gimbals should hinder you from being able to do anything. I've used poor quality gimbals before on other kits, and also the range should be good too because it runs Express LRS. So the radio's pretty good. Are you gonna be able to use this radio forever? Probably not, but it's a decent radio as far as beginner kits go, in my opinion. The goggles are the weakest link. I'm not gonna lie. The goggles have a low resolution. They've only got the one antenna. There's no dual diversity. In fact, they might even give you an impression that analog sucks. That's the video link that this uses. You might think the analog sucks from using this. I promise you, more expensive analog goggles definitely look a lot better than what you're gonna see in here. But this will get you by. This gets you up in the air and flying. I will say BETAFPV did a great job, again, putting a DVR on these goggles. I think that's an invaluable feature to be able to record your flights, and you saw the quality that you can expect from the receiver out here. I think it's more than acceptable to get your feet wet with a kit like this. Now, I know some people are gonna be like,
John, for $300, you could go out and buy way better hardware than what you get in this kit.
You could probably come up with something hardware-wise that is better than what's in the Cetus X kit. However, I have seen too many people go out and buy the individual components and just flop on the setup. They end up with a bunch of money in components that they can't even fly. With this kit, at least you're going to be ready to fly out of the box, and hopefully it's going to expose you to some of the things that you will need to learn in the future if you want to bind other drones or set stuff up. Since this runs Betaflight, this can be connected to a computer, and someone can take this radio and learn how the switches are assigned. This kit will kind of let you work backward to see how things are set up. And I think that there's some value in having something completely set and ready to go. Not gonna argue with you, hardware-wise, for $300, you could probably do better, but is it really better if you can't take off at all because you don't have the knowledge to fly? So in my opinion, this kit is not too expensive, not too cheap for its price point to get you in the air and flying with a fairly comfortable experience. All right, that's it, guys. You let me know if you have any questions at all about the BETAFPV Cetus X Ready to Fly kit. I'm gonna go do some flying. It is a hot day. I'm tired of sitting in the sun. You guys take care, and I'll see you in the next video.